Hello and welcome to IPL Shorts. This is me, Shubhayan Chakravarti, and we are at this time when the grand festival of cricket starts, the Indian Premier League. And to give a brief preview, we have former England spinner Monty Panesar with us. Monty, welcome to Beyond. How are you? And how much are you looking forward to the IPL?
Yes, very much so. I think everyone's looking forward to the IPL in the UK, and I think we're all going to be, excited to see how the IPL goes in the next sort of few weeks.
And the matches will be played behind closed doors. So many restrictions. The biosecure bubble for almost 2 months. So, do you think it will play a part in this tournament?
Well, I think it depends on individuals. When England players were playing here in England, it didn't really affect them. The likes of Stuart Broad, Jimmy Anderson, they still performed very well. Ben Stokes as well. But there's some players who love the crowds and it gets the best out of them, while others that they still perform very well. So yeah, evidently there'll be some players who who may not do that as well. With the crowds not being there, but others will just continue to perform as they do.
So, Monty, what do you think of defending champions Mumbai Indians? They have added Chris Lynn, Trent Bolt, and they are looking a menacing side on paper. Do you think they can defend the title?
Well, I think Mumbai Indians look the most balanced and the strongest team. They've got their all covered, all bases are covered, and with the addition of Trent Bolt, I think it makes their team a lot stronger. But I think it's again it's a lot of pressure on Mumbai. They seem the strongest, I think, out of all the other teams. But can they deal with the pressure? That I think that's going to be the biggest challenge. That probably what Mahela Jayawardene will be thinking. Can this Mumbai Indians team, deal with the pressure in the second season, especially when there's so much pressure at stake?
When we look at the Mumbai Indians side on paper, I think they are filled with champions, starting with Rohit Sharma, Quinton de Kock, Kieran Pollard, Jasprit Bumrah, Hardik Pandya. They have so many superstars, but they will be missing Lasith Malinga. Do you think that will be a major factor in their triumph?
Well, I think with Mumbai Indians, it's their own expectations. Everyone is chasing Mumbai Indians. No one else is. All the teams will be thinking, the big match is Mumbai Indians. We've got to beat Mumbai Indians, and then we've got a chance of making it in the top four. So that I think last year Mumbai Indians didn't have that pressure to deal with. So this it would make them, if they can win it again. I would probably say that's probably probably end up being one of the greatest IPL teams. Mumbai Indians has had.
You mentioned just mentioned that other teams will be chasing, but there will be a particular team that will be chasing very closely, and that is Chennai Super Kings. Mumbai have 4 titles, Chennai have 3 titles. How do you look at Chennai Super Kings? Obviously, they have added the likes of Sam Curran, Josh Hazelwood, and R. Sai Kishore, who is a very good left-arm spinner coming from the Indian domestic circuit. So, what do you think of Chennai Super Kings? They will obviously be missing two crucial aspects in Suresh Raina and Harbhajan Singh. So how big they are in this IPL?
Yeah, look, the experience of Harbhajan Singh and Suresh Raina will be missed, and that's something that Dhoni has to he's a great captain, and he has to find ready pace obviously replacements. I think Sam Curran's a great addition. He's obviously a good left arm seamer and hits the ball really well. And he'll be very excited to join Chennai Super Kings. But I think with the aging team, I'm just not sure if this year Chennai Super Kings will be strong as they've been last year.
Yes. Obviously, because the likes of MS Dhoni, Shane Watson, they haven't played that much of cricket over the years in the last couple of years. And even Faf du Plessis got dropped from the South African T20I side. So I think that will also play a major role. And maybe if I might be wrong, but they can fall short of the top four spot. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that could be a bit, very much the case. They need Shane Watson to perform and also MS Dhoni. MS Dhoni needs to have another great season. But I think they've got into Jadeja there as well. Who bowls really well. Ashwin as well. They're key spinners. So they've got like, I would say, the experienced players there, and they can't afford not to have the experienced players, performing. If Chennai Super Kings are going to be strong as they need to be, I think it's going to rely on the experienced players to perform. And then the likes of Sam Curran, I think, could do really well under them.
So let's jump to Delhi Capitals now. They finished third under a young skipper in Shreyas Iyer. They are looking a good side on paper. They have added the likes of Ajinkya Rahane and even Ravichandran Ashwin. They have traded Ravichandran Ashwin from Kings 11 Punjab. So I think they are looking a very balanced side on paper. Do you think they can go all the way and break that title jinx this season?
Yeah, I think Delhi Daredevils is one of the teams which will surprise a lot of teams out there, and I think they got a chance of winning it this year. And they have a balanced team, and they have a young team as well. The likes of Amit Mishra's there with his leg spin, and Amit Patel as well with his
Akshar
slow
Patel.
left arm.
Akshar Patel.
Yeah, Akshay Patel, sorry, and also Ishant Sharma, who's experienced, bowler. So they've got some, very good Indian players in the team, which I think could be the difference between, Delhi Capitals winning it this year, because the simple fact is that I think they've got their Indian players are better
Yes.
than the other teams out there.
Yes. So moving forward, next we will come to Kolkata Knight Riders. I think they have added so much to their team in this auction. They have bought the likes of Pat Cummins for Indian rupees 15.5 crore, and they have added the likes of Tom Banton, Chris Green, Owen Morgan, the World Cup winning captain. So how menacing are they looking on paper?
I think they're going to rely heavily on they're the most explosive batting lineup, Kolkata Knight Riders, and Owen Morgan, Andre Russell, Tom Banton. These are going to be very explosive players, and I expect Kolkata Knight Riders. There'll be situations in the games where 50 runs needed and then a few overs to go, and they'll be the team that could chase that down. Or they just go for a flying start, and then we'll see some really big totals. But I think the area that they may struggle with is if these explosive batters they lose early wickets. I just don't know if they've got enough experience in the middle order. But it's the most explosive batting lineup.
On paper, they are looking pretty fabulous, but then again, the likes of Nitish Rana or Owen Morgan or even Dinesh Karthik, I think they have to come up and take up responsibility in that batting order. And obviously, the young pace attack which they have in the domestic players, Nagar Koti, Shivam Mavi, and others. I think they have to do well. Monty, moving forward, what are your thoughts on Sunrisers Hyderabad? Will they depend again on the likes of David Warner, Johnny Bairstow? They have added the likes of Fabian Allen, Abdul Samad, who is a very good hitter, comes with a very good reputation from the Indian domestic circuit. Where do you think they will finish?
Well, I think with David Warner being captain as well, and he hasn't had great performance in England. What's his mindset like? That's going to be the key thing. And also Johnny Bairstow's just find a bit of form. Both of them, are very good openers. They set and they got Rashid Khan there as well, and Mohammad Nabi, who I think probably the strongest spin pair in the competition. So I think they're looking very strong at the moment.
And as you mentioned, Rashid Khan and Mohammad Nabi, they can bat at number 7 and number 8. So that brings more solidity to their batting lineup as well.
Yeah, it does, and that's what I believe. With Rashid Khan being the best T20 spinner, I think that they could be one of them sort of underdogs like Delhi Daredevils. Hyderabad Sunrisers. Yeah, I could easily see a Delhi Capitals. Delhi Capitals final with Sunrisers Hyderabad, because both teams are very hungry for success. Both teams have never won it. Well, obviously Sunrise Hyderabad have won it, but they just, again, no one really talks about Sunrise Hyderabad as one of the strongest teams. They always look at Mumbai, Kolkata, or RCB. But I think that it's a team that people should keep their eyes on.
So as you mentioned RCB, let's move to RCB. when IPL comes, there's a common question: can RCB win this year? And it hasn't happened so far. So can they do this year? I'll ask the same question to you, because on paper, like every other year, they are looking very strong, and they have added the likes of Chris Morris to their sides as well. Adam Zampa is there, who can come in as a cover to Yuzvendra Chahal or maybe bowl in tandem with him. And they have added obviously Aaron Finch, who is one of the best T20 batsmen in my opinion. What are your thoughts on
Yeah,
RCB
yeah.
players?
Look. I think RCB are strong, but I think they have a strong batting lineup. I don't think their bowling is as strong. So again, they rely heavily on runs, and I think Virat Kohli, when he makes this team, he makes it very much a strong batting team, and he's relying on his strength, which is his batting. So you know, I think if they were going to win this, it can't be all about Virat Kohli. Every IPL, it's all about Virat Kohli, him scoring runs, him being the main man. That's not going to win titles. That's going to win the purple cap for Virat Kohli,
Mhm.
but it won't win titles. So I think Virat Kohli probably has to take that mindset away. Sometimes he just thinks he wants to do everything, and that's that. That's not going to win you the IPL title. And I think this time round, he has to find a way of how can I, even if I'm performing well, how can I make this team win? And that's what it's going to be. I think in the past it's been too much about him and him scoring runs. He needs to take that focus away and make it more about how do I make this team win.
Mhm.
That's going to be his challenge.
Maybe the addition of Aaron Finch as a leader also in that leading group might help him in picking up better options in terms of backing the right players in the right time.
But I think that's one of the reasons why he's got Aaron Finch there. He's probably thinking, I have to do everything, and he's not. He shouldn't think of himself like that. It's added pressure.
Mhm.
Yeah, he likes scoring runs, and we all love seeing him score runs. But he needs to think that there's another senior figure in the team which he can lean on, maybe during on the field. Who I think Aaron Finch is a lot more calmer as a captain. Virat Kohli is very emotional, and probably is has to do it for the brands as well, and for for the TV screens and publicity for IPL. Give them emotional reactions, so the fans love seeing that. But I think this time around, I think he would have to think um, every different situation that he's in. How can I make? How can we win this game,
Yes.
right? And that is going to be his difficulty, because I don't think he has a strong enough bowling lineup. I don't think the spin options are as strong.
Mhm.
With Adam Zampa there, I think he does well. Um, under Australia. And if Aaron Finch can get the best out of him, there's one person who can get the best out of Adam Zampa, probably be Aaron Finch. So that combination, it's not about, if I was Virat Kohli, I'd be, quite sort of selective in who captains who. I would get Aaron Finch to captain Adam Zampa, and I would just move away from it.
Yes.
That's the kind of stuff, because I think he likes to be in the face of everything, and he needs to just be selective now and just think, right, I'll focus on this area. I'll let Aaron Finch maybe focus on this, and hopefully we can find a winning combination.
Great. In my opinion, I think it's the tale of every year. Everyone, every expert, every pundit have RCB in their top four, but it hardly happens. So moving forward.
I don't have RCB in my top four at all. No, because I think every year it's all about Virat Kohli.
Mhm.
It's just about him scoring runs, and as long as he scores the main runs, that's it. And I think he's beginning to realize that
Mhm.
it cannot be about me. It has to be about the team. And even if I'm scoring the runs, I've just got to find. That's the difference between MS Dhoni and I think Virat Kohli. Both captains. MS Dhoni just knows how to win games, even
Mhm.
though Virat Kohli's got a better team
Mhm.
batting wise. Um, and I'm sure he knows that. He probably knows that actually sometimes I just make it a bit too much about myself.
Yes.
Maybe I should, move away from it and think about how can I make RCB win in different situations? Have I got all my bases covered? That's what he should be asking himself the question. You know, if we were 5 down, all the main batters were gone, and we needed 50 runs in the last 5 overs,
Mhm.
have we got our bases covered there, right? Who are my death bowlers when there's a tight game and I'm able to pick? Who are they?
Mhm.
And that's going to be his challenge, I think. It's not about scoring runs. It's about how do I get RCB to win in different situations.
Exactly, exactly. So moving forward, Monty, what are your thoughts on Kings 11 Punjab? They have a whole new coaching group in Anil Kumble, Jonty Rhodes, Wasim Jaffer. I think they have bought some big name players. Glenn Maxwell is there, who always does well in the United Arab Emirates. So what are your thoughts on Kings 11 Punjab? They are looking pretty good on paper, and KL Rahul will be captaining them this season.
Yeah, look, K. Roll's another fabulous player. But for me, look, we need Maxwell to have another great season. Maxwell needs to have another good season with Kings Punjab 11. That simple as that. You know, it's like when you have one of the main strikers always scoring the goals, right?
Mhm.
If Kings Punjab want to be in the top 4, Glenn Maxwell has to be one of the top run scorers. I like the innings he played, yesterday against England.
Top class innings.
We need to see that form back. That when he played, when he went to Punjab Kings 11, he was smashing it everywhere. He needs to play like that. That's the only way I think Punjab 11 will get through, because he will get him into he'll win him into win him numerous times, or he'll put pressure on the other opposition.
Mhm.
And also what it is, if he may not be in great form, but if he needs to be in good form, and he may not be, let's say, in one game scoring loads of runs, but he makes the job easier at the other end. If K. Rahul is batting, or he has another batsman there, they would get the easy balls because of the sheer pressure of Glenn Maxwell's
Yeah.
unpredictable shots.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes it. I've seen it when Glenn Maxwell bats well, the whole team bats well.
Exactly. Exactly. And they have a pretty good bowling attack also. I think they have added the likes of Jimmy Nisham there, who is a all rounder. They have Sheldon Cottrell. They have Chris Jordan, who is again a fabulous T20 bowler. Mohammad Shami is there, and good leg spinner in Ravi Bishnoi, the youngster from under 19 World Cup fame. What are your thoughts on the bowling attack? How is it looking?
Yeah, look. I think it's like the team is the team will do well. Again, it's like I said, if Glenn Maxwell is mentally in a great place, he's fielding really well. He's got lots of energy on the field. He's taking all of these stops for these young bowlers, Mohammad Shami, all the others. What it does, it just breeds confidence. He's the main catalyst of that team. And if he doesn't have a great, if he doesn't have a great season this year, then again, Punjab Kings will then we'll have to find other ways. And with a new coaching staff, that'll be interesting to see, how Anil Kumble is able to adapt. He's been criticised in the past
Mhm.
for being quite old school in his approach in the Indian team, and I think that old school approach, that Virat Kohli talked about, you know, with the respect of Anil Kumble, no one really wants to say anything because he's taken, he's one of the greatest bowlers, and that's the difficulty, when you're in Indian cricket, it's difficult for anyone to call back Anil Kumble. But for me, I'm in England, I don't know him as well, but what I know is by watching young T20 coaches, they need to be very adaptable. That one size fits all kind of model, doesn't work in T20 cricket. And again, Anil Kumble, if he's a successful coach, like, people like he thinks he is, he needs to say, well, he needs to be adaptable in his thinking.
Mhm.
And he's been criticized in the past. He's very much like an engineering degree, mathematical background, logical sense. He doesn't seem to have, doesn't seem to be, very adaptable in his coaching style. So I think this time around, he would really need to, not prove anyone wrong, but for us to see
Mhm.
that actually Anil Kumble is a very adaptable coach. His thinking is very, oh, wow, I didn't see that. It's like that. You know, the great coaches like Stephen Fleming and, some of the other sort of Tom Moody.
Trevor Bellis.
Yes, they change game situations, and that's what we all eyes on Anil Kumble. They'll be watching that. They want to see, was Virat Kohli right? about Anil Kumble coaching style, and we'll find out in this IPL.
And the last team, Rajasthan Royals, I think the winners of the inaugural edition of IPL, but then the train completely derailed. So, what are your thoughts? In my opinion, they have the best foreign players score in Jofra Archer, Steve Smith, Josh Butler. I think it's phenomenal. But the domestic players, they always underperform, and that puts pressure on these four guys to perform. What are your thoughts on Rajasthan Royals? How are they looking on?
Yeah, right. Look, Josh Butler, Steve Smith, Jeff Archer, his pace is going to pose. They're always going to be in the game somehow. They've got some great overseas players. I'm not sure about Ben Stokes. I don't know if he's doubtful or his availability. But yeah, look, Rajasthan Royals full strength. I think is probably one of the strongest teams, there. But they rely heavily, like Josh Butler, we all know is probably one of the greatest T20 batsmen around. Steve Smith is, again, will produce some, great innings as well. But for me, I think it'll be the pace. Jofra Archer is probably one of the quickest or the top three quickest bowlers around, and it'll be the pace that could, some of the young Indian batsmen, who haven't faced this sort of pace, they could be mesmerized by it, and he is quick. He's not slow. He's very quick, and that could be the difference. That could be the difference when there's key situations. Jofra Archer is the man who wins the game for Rajasthan Royals.
I think for me, if you ask me, then it will be who replaces Ben Stokes in that batting lineup. This is the first phase of IPL, I think that will be very crucial role. Whoever takes the job from Ben Stokes.
Yeah, that's going to be something that I have to think about. If Ben Stokes is not available, who takes up that role? So yeah, I think RCB rely heavily on the overseas players. So yeah, Ben Stokes not being there could play. Could be the difference between them making in the top four or not.
What will be your top four picks in this IPL?
I'll say Delhi Capitals. Rajasthan Royals.
Wow.
Mumbai Indians. And if Virat Kohli gets it right with his captaincy, RCB.
What do you think? Will the UAE pitches play a massive role in this IPL? Will we see low scoring matches? Because as we saw in the Caribbean Premier League, the pitches died down in the second half of the tournament, and we were seeing the scores of around 120, 140, not much more than that.
Well, I think it'll be disappointing if there's low scoring games, because we need high scoring cricket. I think there's a lot of fans who will be watching high scoring games, and if there's anything low scoring like the Caribbean League, then people switch off very quickly. And the initial couple of weeks of the hype of the IPL, you'll lose a lot of fans. So it's important that we get the pitches right, and we have flat, hard pitches, and we can see sixes and fours, because that is what viewers and fans love around the world.
So Monty, my final question for you to end this episode: who will be your pick for the winners of IPL 2020? And another two questions with this: who will be the highest run scorer, and who will be the highest wicket taker? I know it is a bit early, but no harm in taking predictions.
Yeah, I think for me, the highest run scorer will be Rishabh Pant.
Okay.
And Delhi Capitals will win the IPL this year.
Wow, that's a big call. And who will be the highest wicket taker?
Highest wicket taker would be Rashid Khan.
Rashid Khan. That's an interesting pick. I think that was a lovely chat, Monty. Thanks for joining in. We look forward to having you more in this segment of IPL Shorts. Thank you for joining in at WION. Stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.